let's talk ECU baseball. The Pirates up to number 9 in the country, and honestly continuing to surge. Playing a lot of good baseball right now. Beat Florida Atlantic in the series this past weekend down in Boca. Jacob Starling missed the series again due to an oblique injury suffered at NC State. And he's has he played? I didn't get a chance to watch it last night, but he's probably going to be back this weekend. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking the goal is to get him back Friday. I'm not sure if he did play last night. I don't think so. I think the goal was to get him back on Friday. Honestly, I'd probably let him rest another week. Just make sure he gets his body back active, really bring him back slow so that he can really make that run into the
I could see him getting maybe not getting the start on Friday or Saturday, but maybe getting an at bat here or there if ECU's up big. But you don't want to put him in a position where he's going to re-injure himself. He's a key part of this team, right? And ECU needs him down the stretch if they want to make that run to Omaha. And I think that I'm with you. I think maybe you leave him out this weekend unless kind of like a break glass if in case of an emergency, right? Like maybe that's when you use them. But that's really like the only thing about that's missing on this team is Jacob Starling. But they've weathered the storm and come out on top. I mean, they're sitting at 25-7. Earlier in the year, remember we had several games where we dropped 4 games in the span of 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and everybody was thinking the sky was falling. The sky isn't falling. ECU is playing still really good baseball. Yeah, you drop one to Florida Atlantic, but you're sitting in a good position to set yourself up to make a stretch run and make a run at a top 8 national seed in the college World Series or in the NCAA tournament. A lot of talk earlier in the season about ECU during the midweeks. Now ECU's won 6 straight midweek games. And, I mean, really, last night, I'll say it was a little bit closer than I would have liked. But to go out and have a combined no-hitter against Elon and absolutely drag them before sending them back on the road for another 2.5-hour bus ride, that was criminal. what they did to Elon to make them drive 2.5 hours, play 5-6 innings, and
7.
Then was it 7, and then send them back home after just absolutely annihilating them. That was, you could have told me that they played a JV team and I would have believed it.
3 home runs in an inning. That's all I'm gonna say. Like you can't do that in Division I baseball. You aren't supposed to do that in Division I baseball. And the thing is, I've been watching on TikTok. There's a lot of talk about some of the bats that people are using in college baseball with the home runs. ECU hitters are not using any of those bats.
Yeah.
So to hit 3 in 1 inning, I don't know what else you can do.
The bats are hot. The bats are hot. Need them to stay hot going into this weekend against Charlotte. But before that, last night, ECU played Old Dominion, getting some revenge on the Monarchs after getting walked off earlier in the season up in Norfolk. Riley Johnson has now reached base in all 30 of his appearances this season. Ethan Norby, brother Connor Norby, had 10 strikeouts, allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run in 4 2/3 innings, closing it out, getting the save. Absolutely electric stuff last night. So shout out to him. And really, I always think it's hard, especially in college baseball, when you have 2 midweek games and then have to play on the weekend. It's always hard because you're trying to conserve guys' arms, trying to protect them going into the weekend where, I mean, the weekend series we all know is more important than a midweek game. But for Norby to go 4 2/3 last night and really save the rest of that bullpen, knowing that we have another game 2 days later, that was huge, right? Like you didn't have to go deep into the bullpen and throw a bunch of arms. You were able to ride him, and he should be available maybe Saturday. I would guess he's probably available Sunday. They may not let him go Friday or Saturday, but it got you through the stretch, right? And it got you over the hump and got you where you needed to go. So yeah, shout out to him. If we were giving out a bad to the bone player of the night, he is my bad to the bone player of the night from last night, because absolutely electric, just shutting down Old Dominion.
Yeah, I would like to say shout out to Bristol Carter for hitting his first collegiate home run in the past week. I can't remember if it was on Tuesday or sometime over the weekend, but I just remember I saw it. So congrats to him. Bright future, real bright future on that guy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, up next, ECU plays Charlotte this weekend, Friday night, 6 o'clock. Saturday, 4 o'clock after the spring game. That game is sold out. It's gonna be a lot of fun in CLS this weekend. And then Sunday, 1 o'clock, and then the midweek game next week. We got William and Mary. So lots of good baseball to be played. Exciting to have this weekend, right? Like I'm excited. I haven't been down to an ECU baseball game in a little while. I'm excited to get to the one on Saturday.
Yeah, and I'll be there too. I'll be walking around in the jungle, So
yeah. If you see Josh out there with his camera, make sure to strike a pose for him. All right, softball. ECU swept UTSA, putting the Pirates back on track. Taylor Woodring tabbed it as American Athletic Conference Player of the Week after 3 great performances. Taylor had a 600 average at the plate with 5 RBIs, 3 home runs to lead the Pirates to 4 wins, including that sweep over San Antonio. Unfortunately, ECU wasn't able to pull the upset over number 3 Duke in the midweek, losing 10-1 in the home contest. I mean, still sitting at 29-12. It's not the what do we start, like 22-1, 22-3, something like that.
That was crazy.
The Pirates have cooled off, but still playing some really good softball right now.
Yeah, and I would like to give them a shout out. This sweep was the first one for the Pirates in a conference series since 2021. So I mean, they're really progressing. They're really getting better every single week. This next week is going to be this next weekend's slide is going to be a big one. They're going to go play at Tulsa, who is currently the number 2 team in the conference. They're tied in the second place. So, really just, squeak out a game or two. Stay in the hunt in all 3 games, and just keep progressing. That's what I'm looking forward to with that Tulsa stretch.
For sure. And then next week, you get the midweek game against UNCW in Wilmington, 5 o'clock on Flow Softball. Hit that subscribe button right this second. All right. And then make sure to leave us a review wherever you may be. 5-star review. You're a friend of the podcast. 1-star review. You can walk the damn plank. Alrighty, let's get the hell out of here.